opinion. All right, welcome in. It's Saturday. We're just backstage. I'm just talking about what I would do differently than some of the coaches in Major League Baseball, but it's time to get going on the show. You know what? Instead of coming on here and opening the show by complaining for 3 minutes, I'm going to go with a glass half full take for myself. I went 0-2 yesterday. I lost 2 games where my team tied the game in the 9th inning and lost in extras. One of those was my 5%er with the Padres, where I had a 6-3 lead and then lost 7-6. But I'll say this. I've had horrible 9th inning luck this year in basically any baseball game, you name it, AAA, KBO, MLB, and I'm still having a great baseball season. So that's my glass half full take from today. I went 0-2 yesterday. I've had terrible 9th inning luck, and yet I'm still having a pretty good season. I got to feel a little bit good about that. Tokyo Brandon, how was your KBO show last night, and also how did your Friday night go?
Yeah, the show was fun. Actually, after we did our total bases show, I put out a 5% play in the KBO and I won it. It was Kia, and they won, I think, 12-2. It was only minus 130. I thought that was pretty good. So, but I did lose 2 4% plays, so ended up having a losing day, but the 5% won. So I don't know how to feel about that. A little mixed bag, but the show was good. I gave out some good advice. I told everyone to take Kiwoom plus 131, and they ended up winning. So good and bad, but it's always good to win a 5%er, even if it's a losing day.
Yeah, and you had a nice call here on the show yesterday. That first 5 under came in easily in the Royals-Padres game.
Good.
Bryan, I'll go to you. Friday night, I know we kind of, neither of us had much 5% luck. Did anything else get there for you last night?
Yeah, I had 2 plays. I had your Padres as a small play, and that could have gone either way.
Horrible.
But my 5% was on Seattle. I released them at 150, and about 3 hours after I released it, they pulled my play down because it shot all the way up to 205. Ended up closing about 185. So one of those situations where you always want to beat the closing number. I crushed the closing number, and then my team got crushed 7-0. It happens. If you were to give me a game in which I beat the closing number by 35 cents every single game, I'd be a rich man. But you got to play the games out, and Seattle didn't hit. And hats off to Brandon Lope. He was great. I think he gave up 2 hits the entire game. So, yeah, it was a bad pick. It was a good pick that ended up badly. Let's just put it that way. And it wasn't even close. And I apologize for everybody who bought that. I'm going to try to give you a play that I'm going to give clients today. I'll probably try to use that as my my free play here on the show.
Yeah, listen, 10 times out of 10, if you can get down a play that you can get down at minus 150 and then it goes off minus 205, 10 times out of 10, that's a good bet. Doesn't always work out in your favor, but that's just reading the market correctly. That's a good bet. And that's been the Mariners a lot this year.
Yeah.
Beating the market with them, and they just no-show. And maybe we'll get to that on the show today. But I want to go back to Tokyo, Brandon. Our feature game tonight, back to Yankee Stadium, Dodgers-Yankees Part 2. That was, I'll say this about yesterday's game. And ultimately, on the show, we talked about the Yankees. I like the Yankees on the show. I know Bryan did as well. And what caused me to pump the brakes a little bit during the day and get away from that game was I was looking at, the game and I'm like, is this where the Dodgers kind of feel like this is an important game? Is it going to have a big game feel? And that's absolutely what happened. That felt like a playoff atmosphere in Yankee Stadium last night. Like that felt like a big game. And the Dodgers showed up for it, played great, come back, 2-1 win. Game probably could have gone either way as well. So Dodgers-Yankees Part 2 tonight to you. How are you seeing this one?
Let me do a quick promo first. You can get a double play, 2 of us 3 days, huge discount. And I'm going to do a Sunday morning MLB betting show because WagerTalk doesn't have a show on Sunday. I'm just filling the gap there. So tune in Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern to my MLB show. Look, I think the Yankees were the better team yesterday. They just made a bad decision. Another managerial F-up. A manager listening to his players instead of going with his gut, and he paid the price for it. This isn't the first time that Garrett Cole has demanded he stay in the game and then give up a home run immediately afterwards. He did it last year as well. He did it several times, actually. So Boone's got to learn to go with his gut and not be overruled by the players on the field. It was a mistake. It was a managerial mistake. He should have taken him out. And the Yankees probably would have won that game 1-0. But as it turns out, they did not. I still think the Yankees were the better team. The Dodgers were the team that were dropping the ball yesterday and looking like a KBO team, not the Yankees, which was kind of surprising. And Sasaki pitched a great game, and the Yankees still should have won the game. So tomorrow, or I'm sorry, what is it? It's morning over there, right? Okay, so today, it's going to be tomorrow for me. But today, I think the Yankees have the better pitcher on the mound. I think Weathers is better than Sheehan. He's got better numbers against the opposition. Well, Sheehan doesn't really have a sample size, but Weathers is better at home. Sheehan has a 5+ ERA on the road. And I just think that Weathers is the better pitcher. I think the Yankees have the better bullpen. Hitting, I think, is kind of a toss-up. I mean, Rice is hitting well. Chisholm is hitting well. I do think the Dodgers have the better lineup, but I think that'll be a little bit neutralized by the pitching discrepancy. And if I were to take a team here, I would take the Yankees. I would take them +1.5 if the number's okay. But I think the Yankees are probably the better team here. And after yesterday, I think that proved that point. Whether they win or not is a different story. But if I'm going to bet this game, that's how I would bet it.
Yeah, Brian, my big takeaway from yesterday is Roki Sasaki looked rested, was coming out throwing 100, 101 at times. And like Toby O'Brien said, yeah, he looked great. I don't think the Yankees were maybe expecting to go up against like tip-top Sasaki. And yet I think TB makes a good point. They were in position to win. Some of these guys, do you think Cole's earned the right to do that at this point? Or, I'll go to you. You like the Yankees yesterday as well.
I got no problem with that. He threw the entire game. He threw one bad pitch. It happens. As for the Yankees, they should not have scored any because they had a pass ball by the Dodgers catcher, who is a terrible catcher. Yeah. So it should have been 0-0 basically at that point. But the whole thing is Sasaki. Sasaki set a record. I know it's just small sample size because they haven't started doing this since like 2014 or whatever. But he threw, I believe it was 21 pitches over 100 miles an hour. That's the Dodgers record. He was fantastic yesterday. The announcers were talking about it, how his confidence was so good. You could tell how he's pitching by basically how long it takes him to get the ball and throw it. He had a lot of confidence. He was throwing fast or early in the pitch count, and they say he takes a lot of time when he struggles. And we learned something yesterday. Nobody expected Sasaki to do that. And so even though I lost my my part of the parlay yesterday on the Yankees, I agreed. I thought they were just as good as the Dodgers, and it was a situation where it was a little bit of luck involved for both ways. But great pitching from both teams in yesterday's game. On today's card, I don't like these pitchers quite as well. Sheehan's been up and down. He's pitching pretty well lately, but Weathers has been a little bit of a disappointment for the Yankees this year. He's the lefty. The Dodgers, I believe, on the road, they're like an 11-1 to the over when they face a lefty. I could see some runs scored today after those great pitching matchups yesterday. I'm getting a total of 9. I'm seeing a couple 8.5s out there onto the over. But if you can get an 8.5 to the over, that wouldn't be a bad bet to play. I don't know if I want to play it over 9 because you need to have 10, but it's a good hitting ballpark. And you got two pitchers who have been really up and down on the season. As for the side, I think the line is correct.
Brian, that's where I'm going to go with this one as well. I'm north of 9 with run projection here, 9.2 runs. It's, I wouldn't really put you off of a 9 flat, although I think, like Brian said, the much better bet, if you can get a reasonably priced over 8.5, where in a 4-4 game, you've got to win either way. I think that's solid, a solid bet, solid value. Two really, really good lineups, and light died here. I got to fix that real quick. Two really good lineups, and one that I definitely think today is where you probably get your timely hits and you get some runs. My biggest takeaway from last night's game, and the best sort of handicapping thing I can put out regarding this game, is not going to occur today. It'll occur next time Roki Sasaki pitches. He had 9 days off between those two starts. I'd be very curious if he comes out blasting 101 every pitch in his next start. I wonder how much of that was long layoff, hyped up to pitch in Yankee Stadium, and he just sort of let it all fly. I'll say this. I've said this before. Get that dude a psychologist, turn him into your closer. Like, get the head straight. He should be coming out of the bullpen for this team, throwing 101 and just closing out games. Make him a guy that can go 2 innings at the end of games. But like that's how, I mean, for the Dodgers, you look at the pieces they have. If they could turn him into their closer by like playoff time, which is kind of what they sort of tried to do last year, that's how I'd like to see him used. At any rate, for this game, Brian, I'm with you. I think the over makes the most sense here.
To go further on that, they got Glass now and Snell both coming back soon too. So
right, there you go, TB.
Closer coming back.
And the closer, Diaz coming back too.
So he'd be. I'm against you on the closer part because.
Okay, so go 7 inning 8.
Long
yeah,
middle,
he'd be a great seventh inning guy, 6th, 7th inning. Yeah, no problem. Since he's been a starter, he can go 2. Yeah.
I don't even
3 innings in the middle.
Right. In a playoff game, when every manager in the playoffs wants to take their starter out in the 4th inning or the 5th inning, yeah, why not?
Exactly.
I hate the term closer. There's only like 5 of them in Major League Baseball today.
Right.
So it's like good bullpen guy is probably a better way to call it because there's like literally like 5 closers in Major League Baseball. Freebird, he says, thanks for your hard work. Let's roll. Yeah, listen, sometimes the work's still the same. Sometimes it doesn't pay off, but if you do it every day for 6 months, it typically does. And I think that's going to be the case for the 3 of us. I think it has been the case for the 3 of us to this point. So I see some people commenting on it. Since we're talking about closers, I got to bring it up. Let's talk about the one of the true closers in the sport, one of maybe the best to do it in recent memory. And yet yesterday he was pulled after 16 pitches. That's, of course, Mason Miller, the Padres. So yeah, I'm salty about it. Tokyo Brandon, I had the Padres on the money line. I too had some CLV. I got in -112. Think that one went off like -125 at one point. A lot of places. Padres, great game. They tie it up in the 9th on a home run by Ty France. And they take a 6-3 lead in the top of the 10th inning. Now, if you missed the bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, no outs, Mason Miller just did Mason Miller things, started throwing 100, got out of the jam. Only at 16 pitches. However, the bottom of the 10th rolls around, and he's nowhere to be found. It's our guy, Kyle Hart, former NC Dino, not who you want to see out there. Tokyo Brandon with the game on the line in Major League Baseball, and the Royals rattle off 4 runs and win 7-6. The 2 teams have to come back and play a game today. Where do the Padres go from that result?
Yeah, the Padres, I really hate that team. You know, on paper, they look so good. And performance-wise, they're so underwhelming as far as performance. I think the Padres and the Mariners are 2 teams that just don't live up to their paper value. They seem to come out flat. The Mariners are a different story because they're very just like a microwave. They're very up and down. But the Padres just never live up to what they should be. I think I don't know how to say it, but I think they have the advantage today. Canning's not exactly a guy I like to back, generally speaking, but against these Royals, he has great numbers, which probably the only team in all of MLB that he has good numbers against, but he does. He's got a 189 average against and a 555 OPS. And yesterday, my parlay leg was the Royals first 5 under 2.5. I thought that was a good bet because King was on the mound. Even Canning, I think, can hold them under 2.5. So I would either do the Royals team total first 5 under, or I would take the Padres in the full game. Unfortunately, like we were talking off air before the show, the Padres manager is one of those guys who likes to kind of insert himself into the game and be the star, and that never works. It's like Angel Hernandez umping, trying to be the star. You know, it just never works. Let the players play. You got Mason Miller, one of the best relievers in all of Major League Baseball, and you take him out for a KBO level can of tomato can. So yeah, that's what happens. But I think the Padres bounce back today. So I would take them, but I'm definitely not betting this team. I'll tell you that.
So Tokyo Brandon, the one good thing about, maybe playing on a Padres bounce back today, since they took Mason Miller out last night, he's definitely available here. You had to think, Brian, that the thought process was it's a 6-3 game. these managers, especially some of the younger, like outthink the room guys, like Stammen, they like to play their matchups. And you have to think he looked and said, all right, I got a 6-3 lead. I'm going to play a little lefty here at some point, and I'm going to win this game. And then I'm going to have Mason Miller to hopefully win tomorrow. Now, they didn't win the game yesterday, but they do have Mason Miller to close out a game today. And I think this is Randy Dobnak for the Royals. Not a guy that I'm really like that concerned about betting against. So I too may have to run it back with the Padres here, but I want to see what you have to say first.
Yeah, let's take a look at the weather. I talked about the Yankees and the Cleveland games yesterday possibly being canceled because of the breathing conditions, because of the smoke. The Cleveland game was didn't have an effect in the Yankees game too much. And Milwaukee was another team that was considering it. But let's take a look at the weather today. There's a lot of wind blowing out on today's card, and this is included. The Kauffman Stadium is expecting 17% more runs, which would be 1.5 runs more. Wind's blowing straight out. It's pretty strong wind, and it's hot. Fenway Park is another one where it's the wind's going to be blowing out pretty hard, and it's hot. So keep that in mind. Sutter Health Park also the situation. So keep that in mind in these games, and you could tell that by seeing the total on this one at I believe it's 11, right? So they're expecting some runs here in Kansas City. And when you mentioned Ty France in passing, but Ty France has been hot as hell. And this is a guy, when he came up, he was a pretty good prospect, and they thought he was going to do some things. He's bounced around a little bit, but maybe he's found a spot here in San Diego, especially when the rest of the team isn't hitting. So he's been really good for them lately. So they need him to continue on, because the rest of this team, for some reason, even in the broadcast, they talked about they couldn't believe that this team is still not being able to hit well. And the only reason they've been somewhat good is because they're middle of the pack with runners in scoring position. But when there's nobody on base, they just can't get on base. And that's just the way it's been for San Diego all season long. I think they need a little bit, some guys that can lay down some bunts, get on that way, play some old National League type of baseball. Get some runners on, and once you get runners on with speed, then that helps everybody because it gets the pitcher paying attention to the runner instead of the batters, and we see how that works out in a lot of these teams that were able to do that. Look at the Brewers; they still base it like crazy. I'm not a big fan of Canning. Dobnak has pitched a little over his head so far. We're getting a total of 11. I would have said the over here, but you'd need to score an even number to get the over. Let's take a quick look at team totals here. We're looking at San Diego's 5.5 and 5.5 to the under with Kansas City a little bit. The only problem with Kansas City is to get 6 runs, but if they get the lead, they won't bat in the 9th inning. So I'm just going to pass on this game. I'm not seeing anything right now, unless the line goes down to 10.5, which the wind blowing out there, I doubt we'll see it. But I would want to get 11 runs to get the win and not the push.
It's a really good point about the ball carrying and the wind blowing out. There was multiple fly balls in that game last night that were like routine fly balls that ended up at the warning track, like guys like running into the wall, catching balls that if you watch the body language of the hitter, they thought this was just like a routine pop up to left field, and you had guys like back to the wall catching the ball. So yeah, the ball absolutely probably going to carry. Someone in the chat, no, I don't think if you had the Royals yesterday, I don't think you got lucky. I think the Royals was probably the right side in that game, all things considered. I just think I was unlucky once it got to the 10th inning in a 6-3 lead to lose in that fashion. And I disagree with them not leaving Mason Miller out there. Biggest takeaways from yesterday's game for me, in terms of the Padres, the body language is still awful. Xander Bogaerts, you might have to just give him I thought this team was going to come back, rested, 4 days off, refocused, and come out and play focused. Xander Bogaerts threw a routine double play ball in the right field. I mean, the guy's out there, head is down, 620 OPS on the year. Even like Tatis, like the one first batter of the game, he's one that hits a fly ball, looks like a routine fly ball, but Caglione makes a great play on it at the warning track. Head down, shoulders are shrugged. Yeah, that's nice that Ty France is having a good season. Unfortunately, the 4 guys that are supposed to be carrying this team aren't. Jackson Merrill looking baffled as he watches strike 3. That's a problem. I still think that they're going to probably turn it around. I'm going to use the Padres in the parlay today. Listen, I am going to think long and hard about making. Here's the thing. The thing that pushes me over the edge here is Randy Dobnak's a journeyman AAA guy. Okay, this is a guy that is on rosters to eat up innings at the AAA level. He doesn't get many starts in the big leagues. He's got to be 30, 31, 32 years old at this point. Been in AAA forever. Like, this is just not a guy that gets many starts at this level. This is probably a spot start type deal. I do think he's made a couple starts and pitched okay this year, but I'm talking about, you look at his career, journeyman AAA pitcher right here. Nothing more, nothing less. Canning is still better. The Padres at this price, and knowing Mason Miller's probably going to come in and close out this game, is going to be my parlay lay. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, and if he does, since he doesn't start very often, he's probably going to go with the most 5 innings. And then you got that bullpen coming in. I've got Kansas City as the worst bullpen in baseball. Their FIP is 5.2, Cincinnati 5.1, Washington 4.95. Yeah, they're the just about every stat you look at, they're the worst bullpen in baseball, and I don't see any improvement.
Yeah, I'm going to think long and hard about adding this for clients. Let's see how badly I want to piss my clients off by giving Padres out for the second day in a row. If I do, I'm going to put that on. So I do have a 4% play in Major League Baseball locked in that's up for clients already. Over the next couple hours, I kind of want to just see what the lineups are, maybe watch the market a little bit. But there's a good chance that this is a client play. If it is, I will note that on the free pick section of my WagerTalk page. So quick promo for the WagerTalk site. Everyone puts free picks out on the site. Doesn't mean they're client plays. Sometimes it does. You can access those by going to the WagerTalk website, clicking the tab that says free picks, and you will always get probably something from the three of us. I try to put something out there on a daily basis, but I will note if it's a client play or not today. So keep an eye on the free pick tab. Because, yeah, sometimes you just get a client play in there for free. And I know the other guys put plays up there as well. But Brian, what am I looking at for a line in the Padres right now?
Padres right now are about 110 everywhere. It's a pick 'em game.
Yeah, we'll call it minus 110. I think minus 110, even up to like maybe minus 115 is probably a pretty good bet there. And again, it tends to work out that way. I feel like I'm a day early sometimes on some of these teams when I go big on them, 5%er. They'll come out and play the game I thought they were going to play yesterday today. So we're going to run it back, Padres in the parlay. Brian, I'm coming back to you. We have a doubleheader to talk about. A lot of chatter in the chat about Pirates Guardians. So yeah, no, that was smoked out yesterday. Someone asked, was it rained out? Was it smoke? That was the smoke. Brian mentioned it on the broadcast yesterday that there was a couple of games in danger of being called off. It seems like Ohio got it the worst because I think Toledo's game got canceled yesterday as well. Looks like they're going to try to play 2 today in Cleveland. So Brian, does that happen? And are you trying to get involved in either game 1 or game 2?
Yeah, it's going to be a split doubleheader. The first game will start at 1 o'clock, 1:10 Eastern, with the same pitchers from yesterday, Jones and Williams. We talked about that game yesterday, so I'm not going to add much to it. Although in the second game, it will be a night game. It's going to go a little bit later. They brought up Logan Allen, and he's a lefty. I'm not a big Logan Allen fan. If it was up to me, I'd try somebody else up because he's never shown much in the majors. He is a lefty, and Pittsburgh doesn't hit lefties quite as well as they do righties, so I understand that. But in the second game of a doubleheader, when you don't know who is going to be used in the first one, if it's a close game and they have to use their 7th, 8th, and 9th guys, they may have to use some of the other guys in the bullpen in the second game. And we're looking at a total here: 8 to the 20, 8.5 to the under, 8 over at 20, 8.5 to the under. So you got Ashcraft against him. Ashcraft, as we've talked about many times, the Pirates seem to hit when Ashcraft is on the mound. His games fly over all the time, and you've got Cleveland with Logan Allen on the mound. We're looking at, we can get a 9 and get a victory here. We don't know what the bullpen situation is after the first game, so I'm not going to give it out as a play, but I'm just going to say keep that in mind. If it's a tight game in the first one and both teams use their better relievers, chances are we're going to get some lesser relievers in the second game, and with Logan Allen starting, Cleveland needs to have their best relievers to be competitive there. So if that's the situation and we're still getting 8.5s and 8s, I'll be playing the second game over one way or another.
Yeah, great point, Brian. We did a pretty thorough breakdown of Pirates Guardians on yesterday's show, which is the exact same matchup that you're getting in game one. So when I talk about this, I'll try to focus on game two a little bit more as well. But Pirates Guardians to you, TB, if you have any comments about game one, feel free to throw them in. But again, we talked about that game yesterday. So game two, Ashcraft, Logan Allen. What are you seeing in this doubleheader in general?
Yeah, I'm just like you. I have a 4% play in Major League Baseball today, something I really like. And I also put a free play up on WagerTalk.com's free play page. So go check that out. Many cappers do. Usually there's 7 to 8 free plays up there. And they're usually plays that kind of just miss the card, or we put them on the free play page because we have too many plays out in that particular day. So they're decent value plays. So go check those out. Yeah, we'll skip the Jones game because, like Brian said, we covered that yesterday. So the analysis doesn't change just because the game changed today. So the second one, Ashcraft versus Allen, is kind of interesting. Ashcraft is one of those guys that Pittsburgh always seems to score for him. Don't know why. And I've been doing this for a long time. Cannot explain why, teams score for certain pitchers and don't score for certain pitchers, but it just happens. Maybe it's the timing or something like that, but there's no way that the batters are out there saying, okay, Ashcraft's on the mound, we got to score today. They're not saying that. So, or, oh, Skeens is on the mound, we got this game won, we don't have to hit, I'll just swing at anything. They don't think like that. So I don't know why it happens, but anyways, I agree with Brian on the over because just for that fact that the Pirates always score. Allen's coming back. Pirates are swinging a really nice bat right now. I would either take the Pirates team total over or I would take the full game over. Neither bullpen is performing well at all. I got both bullpens ranked 21 or worst in current form. Although, like I said yesterday, current form doesn't mean that much right after the All-Star break. But like I said, Pittsburgh team total over or the full game over would probably be the way I would lean today. It just seems like that kind of game to me. I don't really have a analytic breakdown for that, but it just seems like that's how it's going to go today.
Guys, one of the most annoying things, maybe this might be annoy me more than just about anything, is anytime I go to search Logan Allen, I have to figure out which Logan Allen it is. Somehow there's 2 Logan Allens that are professional baseball players, although one is now back in Korea for the rest of the year. But and I always click on the wrong one. But the reason I wanted to bring up the correct Logan Allen here is because I had a feeling he's been pitching pretty good down in Columbus. He's pinged on my AAA starting pitcher radar recently, and I went back and he's actually been fantastic at AAA since being sent back down. I mean, month of June, 2.57 ERA, 1.11 WHIP at AAA, and his starts in July wasn't great last time out right before the break. But the start before that was a quality start. 6 innings, 2 runs. Do what you will with that. I mean, this is a guy that's been around for a long time. I think Brian would agree. Kind of know what you're going to get out of him at this point. But, is he a good veteran guy that can come up I think he's probably the 27th man in this situation, give you a spot start? Yeah, he's not just like an auto fade for me, especially with the way he's been throwing the ball at AAA. Now, do I want to find a way to play the Pirates in this doubleheader? Yes. If you watched yesterday's show, and again, I'm not going to go into game one because we broke it down on yesterday's show. So you can go back to yesterday's show. We'll take the clicks, the likes, the subscribes, anything we can get, and check out our breakdown on game one. But that was going to be my parlay leg yesterday. It gets smoked out. I will probably look to try to find a way to play the Pirates today. Is it as simple as listen, I got to sit here and just keep myself honest. I didn't add Pirates to my client card yesterday. As Tokyo Brandon said, it's the exact same matchup in game one. So does the handicap change? If I didn't like it enough to play it yesterday, can I just play it for clients today? I'm not sure, but I do kind of look back to yesterday and say, Yeah, again, like they made my decision easy. The game got canceled. Had it not, I may have actually played the Pirates at that plus 115 price. And I still think you're sitting there looking at them as an underdog. So again, I'm probably going to find a way to play the Pirates today. I don't know if it'll be game 1 or game 2, but Brian, I think game 1 might be for where this is priced right now, the slightly better option. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out Logan Allen's he's a quad A pitcher. He's never really done, but he went a few starts when he was younger. He pitched pretty well in Cleveland. Then I thought they had something good, and then ever since then he's been a disappointment. But you mentioned the Logan Allen situation. How about Max Muncy? There's 2 Max Muncies in the major leagues. They both play third base, and they were both drafted by the Oakland A's.
And they have the same birthday.
They have the same birthday. Part. One is number 13. The other guy's number is number 3.
That's really weird.
It is strange.
And the other day they played against each other and they both batted 7th in the order. Yeah, that's just
something we may never see again.
I've never met anyone with the last name Muncy in my life, and there's 2 of them in Major League Baseball. That's so weird.
Yeah, like it's not like the name was like John Smith, like that. You know what I mean, or something like very basic,
Williams or whatever.
Yeah.
Craig Johnson or something,
that's crazy as well. And yeah, Prop King says Adam and his Pirates. Listen, we went into it yesterday. Actually, we did a pretty long breakdown on that because we got into some futures bets. I'll continue to say this. Tokyo Brandon brought it up. Underrated team. Lineup's been top 5 in Major League Baseball all year. Do we see maybe they use Robert Hassel as a 27th man today or something and get him into the mix? Because I don't think they assigned him to either roster yet. I think he's going to probably go to AAA, but they just traded for him. Jacob Gonzalez in the lineup, I think, sort of offsets Connor Griffin being out. I'm very high on this Pirates team, and the more I sort of stare at that plus money in game 1, that it's like getting harder and harder to leave it on the board. I almost feel like Jared Jones came out last time, and it's like that's the Jared Jones that I expect, and we got him last time, 6 innings of no-hit ball. I kind of think he pitches well today. It maybe. Brian, if you think you might see some of the better bullpen arms in the first game, you got to kind of like the under there a little bit too.
Yeah, you do. I would, if we get our normal, what we expect out of the starters. Yeah, 7.5 is a good number, which makes the second game at 8.5 or 8 with the 2 pitchers that got going there with what we know out of Ashcraft. I think the over in that one is a pretty nice play too. But like I said, we'll have to see who is used. I don't make second half bets or second game bets without knowing what happens in the first one.
Let's go back to the chat. Shout out Grant's dad. Great handle, by the way. Love that screen name. Grant's dad comes in with a donation. He didn't suggest a game, but he has this great old school Florida Marlins avatar. And I got to say, I was at a Marlins game earlier this year. This year, they're really pushing the throwback uniforms. So like, they have a whole merch stand that's just the throwback Marlins gear. They're wearing these jerseys at home on Sundays. Brian Leonard, that's one of the all-time uniforms. The old Marlins uniforms, those cutoffs, the old teal ones. I always think of like Jeff Conine, maybe Cliff Floyd.
D-Train, Dontrell Willis.
Dontrell Willis on the good teams. Yeah. I love those uniforms. So for Grant's dad, we're going to talk Marlins Brewers here because this is also it's a good game. Yesterday, the game went into extra innings. Believe the Brewers got it done 2-1. But I said going into the break, like the Marlins were so hot. Your Guardian sort of got them in a couple close games going into the break. I was worried about the Marlins coming out with the same momentum that we had for a month when they were playing some of the best baseball on the planet. So they lose a close one last night. Are you kind of concerned with the Marlins? Do you think they're overvalued at this point?
Not really. And you mentioned Conine, his son is out there. So, we've got Meyer against Drohan the lefty against Miami. The Brewers are about a 140, 145 favorite right here, which I'm a little bit surprised on. Meyer as well as Drohan has pitched this year. Meyer's been terrific. Miami on the road. I'd like to play Miami on the road. Nice underdog situations. I hate to go against Milwaukee because they've been so good, but that's a pretty good payback for Miami. You can get as high as 129s out there right now for the underdog. That would be the way I would look here. I like both these teams. Milwaukee is terrific at home. They're very, very good, but to catch Miami with the way Meyer's pitching here is a nice underdog price. I talked yesterday about there hasn't been many underdogs in the last week or 2 weeks or whatever that I thought had a lot of value. I think there's a little bit of value here on Meyer. Miami's a team that doesn't get a lot of press. They don't have a lot of big name players. Milwaukee right now, very similar, but everybody knows how good Milwaukee is right now. So kind of like Miami. Don't know if I'm going to get there, but that would be the side I would look at.
Yeah, Tokyo Brandon, you've been sort of high on Max Meyer this year as well. And I want to say, like yesterday, I loved the Brewers yesterday. I thought the price was ridiculous. Like I thought that I thought the spot for the Brewers was fantastic. Thought the price was way too high. So I didn't get involved in that game. Ends up being a good game, 2-1 final. Kind of how I feel here, although I don't like the Brewers nearly as much today. But definitely think they're favored by too much still. So from a value standpoint, I do think the Marlins make some sense. Marlins, Brewers to you, how are you seeing it?
Yeah, guys, get a double play. 2 of us 3 for 3 days. Huge discount. I have a 4% play up. I think Adam does too, and Bryan will definitely have something out today. So 2 of your favorite 3 cappers for 3 days. It's a great value bet. You can also get 6 days for the price of 3 with 1 capper, any capper at WagerTalk, not just us 3. So great deals at WagerTalk.com. Go check them out. Yesterday's game went exactly like I thought it would. As a matter of fact, I had Miami in the first 5 plus the half run. Worked out beautifully. I figured it would be a low scoring game because both of these teams, they're not real power. Well, actually, Miami's a little bit of a power team, but they're kind of manufacturer run kind of teams. And I liked both pitchers on the mound yesterday. I like Max Meyer a lot. Speaking of Max Muncy, Max Meyer, lots of Maxes in the MLB, huh? Never met one in my life, though. 2 really well put together teams. I think anything past minus 120 is a bad number because these 2 teams are very equal, in my opinion. As a matter of fact, I got Miami with the better hitting and the better starter today. But I got Milwaukee with the better bullpen. So I expect kind of a replay of yesterday. Really tight game. If you can get any plus runs in the first 5 or any plus runs in the full game, I think is great value as long as it's not like minus 170 or something. I think Milwaukee's a little bit overvalued. They got some injuries too. So expect a low scoring game again, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can get down with that. TB, that makes a lot of sense. Listen, I love Max Meyer, and I think the thing keeping me off of this game, taking the plus money with the Marlins, is just I know the Brewers are going to pull something with Shane Drohan. Like the Brewers, when they go and get these guys that were showed so much promise with another team, but then didn't totally pan out, I instantly am like, okay, what are they going to do with this guy? Kyle Harrison. You saw it with Quinn Priester. So just some of the look at the pitching that they've had here the last few years and the home, the pitchers that they have developed that are now really good. They go out and make a trade over the All-Star break. I can't wait to see Lance McCullers come out and throw 8 shutout innings as soon as he gets his chance. Colton Gordon, he's probably going to be better than he was in Houston. So again, Shane Drohan is one of those guys. Shane Drohan comes from the Red Sox organization. I loved him when he got to Worcester, and he really started tearing up the minor leagues. And then, the Red Sox, for one reason or another, couldn't, I think they maybe either he was a trade piece or they kind of decided to go in a different direction. And now the Brewers have him. And he looks really good. He looks, at the big league level this year. His ERA is around 3. He's around a strikeout an inning. The whip is 1.2. Chase rate is top 10 in Major League Baseball. So, there, in my opinion, there's a lot to like with Drohan, so much so that I'm just not really dying to bet against him. But I love Max Meyer too. So maybe it is just as simple as an under here because, again, like you said, TV, they don't and I actually think both these bullpens are pretty good. I like the Miami bullpen a lot. There's a lot of good arms down there. It's hard to see a different game than yesterday. Maybe it's not 2-1, but maybe you get 3-2, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2. I still think you probably find a way under this number. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at this one.
By the way, McClanahan's on the team. He's going to pitch out of the bullpen right now.
Is that McCullers? Lance McCullers?
I'm sorry. McCullers, yes.
Yeah, just wait till you see him get in the game. And yeah, he comes out of the bullpen, 2 scoreless, 5 strikeouts, no hits. Like the Brewers, man, that's a team. If they want your pitchers, give them re-sign your pitchers. If the Brewers inquire about one of your pitchers,
that's
extend
right.
them. That's what you got to do at this point.
Yep.
All right, let's go. Bryan, do you know what you want to put in the parlay?
I do. Yeah, and we're getting to the point where we better get out these plays. By the way, I haven't had my plays out yet. They'll be up a little bit later. I am doing the last call after this. So they'll be talking about other sports, but I'll be doing the baseball. So we'll be on that. So my plays will be a little bit later today. I'm going to take a look at this Baltimore-Houston game. Trevor Rogers, the lefty against Houston. Houston doesn't hit lefties as well as they do righties. And Rogers, if you take a look at the games that he has struggled in this year, it's been against divisional rivals. Players have seen him a lot. In non-divisional games and games against the National League, he's been really good. And he's going up against Houston right here, a non-divisional team. So I like that. I've been looking to play on him a little bit, but it's normally I'd rather have him as a dog than a favorite. I know he's just a slight dog here, more of a pick'em, but I like the situation here. Baltimore against Houston. Arrighetti on the mound. I've been fading Arrighetti ever since he got off to that great start, and it's worked out very well. So we've got a guy I'm looking to fade in Arrighetti. We've got a guy I'm looking to bet on with Rogers, and we got Houston going against a lefty, and they don't hit lefties nearly as well as righties. So give me Baltimore. It's basically a pick'em game, minus 105 to minus 110 either way. And I think we got a winner.
I agree with that. I lean Orioles there as well. They sort of got the juices going last night, coming from behind to get a win. I thought they were playing good ball in that Royals series going into the break. So TB, Orioles, Astros to you. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, just looking at Arrighetti, I agree with Bryan. Not a guy I like to back. Rogers is a guy I kind of like. Taking a look at how they face each other, or how they face the batters they're going against today. Both guys have pretty good numbers here. And yesterday I was kind of surprised at a 3-2 result, but looking at the batting, Baltimore pretty cold right now. I think Rogers can hold the Astros bats down, and the weaker pitcher, which is obviously Arrighetti, I think he can hold the weaker bats down, which are Baltimore. So I think another under in this, whether you want to play it in the first 5 or whether you want to play it full game. I haven't played it yet, but I'm considering it. This looks like another under to me, but if it's really hot out and the fact that both teams got bottled up yesterday, there's a couple of red flags against the under. But if I played this game, I would either do a first 5 under or a full game under.
Yeah, listen, I don't, it's hard to figure out what the outlier is. Like, last year, Trevor Rogers, 1.81 ERA, 0.90 whip at the big league level after starting the year in AAA and massively struggling the year before, to the point where people were like clowning the Orioles, being like, dude, you guys got destroyed in this trade because he's so bad. And then last year gets to the big leagues and puts up as good of numbers as any starting pitcher in the big leagues. This year comes out, ERAs in the mid 4s, 1.31 whip. So you have to start to say, like, what is it, right? Like, is he this dominant guy that we saw last year, or is he the guy that struggled the year before? Bryan, you look at his last few starts, he's starting to look like last year's guy. 6 innings, 1 run last time out against the Cubs. Start before that, 5 scoreless against the Reds. Start before that, 6 1/3, 1 run, 7 strikeouts against the Nationals. Start before that, 7 shutout innings of a 1-hit ball against the Dodgers. Starting to throw the ball like he did last year. So I can't put you off the Orioles here.
Yeah, sometimes it's just one little minor tweak. We talked about Suzuki, a confidence issue. And obviously, he's a veteran. He's had the confidence, but Yeah, he was really good in Miami, and then he fell off. And yeah, he seems to have got his confidence back, and the tweaks are working. So yeah, while he's doing well, I want to be on him.
What are you seeing for a number here on this one?
It's a pick 'em, minus 110, minus 105, depending on where you're going.
Yeah, and again, I don't see how you could. It's hard to make a case for the other side, especially with the way the Astros kind of slipped up in that game yesterday, lose a close game. Now you want to have Arrighetti up against a guy pitching as good as Trevor Rogers. I'm with you. I like the Orioles there as well. Tokyo Brandon, I'm going to go to you. What are you looking at to close the parlay out?
Matter of fact, Freebird gave us a super chat, and his game is the one that I want to do my parlay.
I was hoping that was the case. So yeah, go ahead, take it away. Cards, D-backs.
We can conserve time and send Bryan off to the next show. But yeah, this is the game I want to do my parlay in. Man, Brandon Pfaadt looked great in his last start, and Dustin May is looking a lot better than anyone expected. I'm considering taking the Diamondbacks in this game just because I think they have a lot of advantages. The Diamondbacks bullpen ranked number 2 in current form, while the Cardinals ranked 17, and I got Pfaadt ranked a lot higher than May, and Diamondbacks lineup hitting a lot better. The problem is May has great stats against these Diamondbacks hitters. Pfaadt has great stats against these Cardinal hitters, but I'm going to take the Diamondbacks for my parlay piece here. I think they're the better team. I think they'll bounce back, and I think Pfaadt is really impressing me. Unfortunately, he's one of those guys where when I back him, he just goes out and gives up 7 runs, but hopefully that doesn't happen today. This is going to be my parlay piece. I like the Diamondbacks here. They're a great home team, and Pfaadt has great numbers against these Cardinals. So give me the Diamondbacks. I believe the number I'm seeing is minus 120. So yeah, that'll be my parlay piece.
I'm seeing a little bit less than that, probably about a 117 or so. So they're
great.
You can get as low as 114 out there, 112 in one place.
Okay, I'll say 17 just to be fair, I guess.
I will say for my comedy segment, this is my Taco Bell game of the day, the May Pfaadt. But yeah,
thought you were going to make
very consistent.
Digestion.
But when he's on, he's on. And May is, despite some of the things he's had to go through this year, he took that line drive off his leg in that game the other day, but he's been pretty good. I'm glad he's coming around. He was for the Dodgers. He was a guy because of injuries. He kind of underachieved, but he's gaining some confidence, and he's able to play in a St. Louis lineup that they could use him. Whereas in the Dodgers, if he was still with the Dodgers, he'd probably be in AAA right now. So yeah, I like both these pitchers right now. So I've got no problem with that. And it wouldn't surprise me if this game goes under also. Arizona, when they play at home and they lose, I believe they've gone under a lot the last games after that. So yeah, maybe St. Louis team total under or on Arizona here.
Yeah, Russell is a commenter who watches all our shows. He said, any thoughts on the total? I think under. I agree with Bryan. First 5 under would be a great play here as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they had the D-backs had a chance to win last night, but they forgot they had a challenge. I think it was Kettle Marte. Bases loaded. Just didn't challenge. Had 2 left. Forgot. I don't know. Can't happen. Yeah. It's just a mistake that absolutely cannot happen. So you wonder if they're a little bit more refocused to come back today. You know, Pfaadt's a guy like I've criticized in the past because he's very fastball reliant. But I want to give credit where credit is due to Brandon Pfaadt. Something he's done, like this dude has straight up embraced that he really can only throw a fastball. And now he just throws like 4 different fastballs. Even to the point where Torey Lovello has complimented him on this. It's like, you know, you see a lot of guys and it's like, oh, well, I'm a starter in the big leagues now, so I need to go learn a 3rd pitch. Like I need a 4th pitch. I need to develop a changeup. I need to throw a curve. But it's like, if you that's nice if you start throwing a curveball, but what if your curveball is no good, right? Like what if it's not a highly competitive pitch? Something Brandon Pfaadt's done, he's just like, well, I can't throw those pitches, but I can throw fastball. So now I'm just going to throw cutters. I'm going to throw sinkers, and I'm just going to mix like 3 or 4 different fastballs in. Listen, sometimes he's going to get blown up, if a team's just locked in on him and he can't change speeds a ton, he's going to get blown up. But he's done a really good job at manipulating the fastball, making it look different, throwing it in different places, throwing it with different movement. He's turned himself into like a very solid big league pitcher. I'm not dying to fade him like I was a year or two ago. And I'm not going to fade him today because we're going to root TV's parlay leg home. I too sort of lean their way today. I think they find a way to like bounce back from like not being super focused in that game last night. So yeah, I like that, TV. I'll root for you on the Diamondbacks. Bryan, you said what, minus 115 for the parlay?
I believe it was, yeah.
All right, so we basically have 3 pick'em games in the parlay today. Should come out right around 6-1. It'd be a nice hit. We kind of need one of these. Before I recap the parlay, check out Bryan on Last Call. He's joining the Last Call panel, which starts in about 10 minutes right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. So no need to go anywhere. Just stay tuned for WagerTalk Last Call at the top of the hour. Tokyo Brandon's got 4% play up, and he's doing the solo show tomorrow. So take a look at that. I have a 4% play on my page as well. And as always, the double play package, 2 of the guys on the screen, discounted rate. You should be taking advantage of that. The parlay today is as follows: 3 full game sides, all right around minus 110. You get the Padres minus 110, the Orioles minus 110, and the Diamondbacks minus 115. So Tokyo Brandon, Diamondbacks minus 115. Bryan's going with Orioles minus 110. I'm going with Padres minus 110. And the 3 of us will be back Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, to do another total basis. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you guys then.